We just had the Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity press conference, and even though the trailer didn't show that much, there is still so much to talk about. From the cast reveals, character profiles, and the first trailer, there is so much to be hyped about for the first entry of Project Red. So without further ado, let's get right into everything you need to know about Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity. Now, I'm not gonna lie with you guys, this trailer was a bit underwhelming. While the action they showed was cool, there just wasn't any plot details, character interactions, and barely any dialogue in the trailer. This is supposed to be a brand new project to replace Super Sentai, a 50-year long running franchise. And this just didn't give us any preview of the plot or even any true interactions with the characters. Overall, the trailer looks cool, just lacks any substance. Literally, it's the definition of hype moments and aura. But with my rant about the trailer aside, I think the series actually sounds a lot more interesting after looking at the characters and their bios. And surprisingly, this series has a very large cast. But starting out, we have our main Gavin, Gavin Infinity, who is Doki Reiji, played by Kohei Nagata. And if I'm being honest, his character profile already gives me typical Red Ranger energy. And I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like him already. He is a man with a fiery sense of justice, and his fighting spirit is always high. And that right there just screams Red Ranger to me. Also, side note, his name is actually a play on his whole personality being Rage. And then the fact that he uses the Emorgear for anger is just perfect. Which the Emorgear are the gimmick toy for the series and can be used with the Gavarian trigger. And these little guys are basically like the GOZYUGERs from Kamen Rider Gavu mixed with the ZEZTZ from GOZYUGER. And given how popular the GOZYUGERs are, I guess they're trying to replicate that here. But back to Reiji, he joined the Galactic Federation Police under his mentor's influence, which again just gives me Red Leader vibes. And after being exposed to a special energy called Emorgear, which I'm guessing is the gimmick power of the season, he is given the ability to travel across dimensions. So yeah, you heard me correctly, we are dealing with Multiverse Gavin, which honestly opens up the doors for this series so much. But more on that later. And Reiji is from Earth Alpha 0073. It has the ability to travel across dimensions to fight various life forms that are now living among humans on Earth. And those aliens use the power of Emorgear to commit crimes, and Reiji is there to investigate them and hunt them down. And in all honesty, this sounds very Deca Ranger and Go Busters coded, as both teams were essentially doing that, and funny enough, both of those series had a crossover with Gavin before. So if you like those shows, I think you might like this show as well. Either way, when traveling across dimensions, Reiji will come across other people who also share the title of Gavin, and forges a bond with them. But on the topic of other Gavins, we have Gavin Bushido, aka Zetsuna Aikokuen, who is played by Ryuga Akahane. Now I'm gonna be honest, this guy is by far one of the most interesting characters in the show so far. First off, this guy isn't human at all. He's an android created for war thousands of years ago with a self-repair function. And you guys already know where this is going. This guy's story is basically the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. Either way, he is interested in human emotions and is sad because he cannot cry. So yeah, Tin Man. So in essence, his story is going to be the journey of him gaining a sense of humanity, which honestly can be good if it's done correctly. And I think if they do anything similar to how they did Izu's story in 01 or even Naga in Q Ranger, people will just adore this guy. But with that said, this guy is from Earth Lambda 8018. And is the captain of his universe's force and the Gavin of his universe. And as Gavin, he's traveled across many planets and became interested in humans and their emotions. And given that he's been alive for thousands of years, he's become a tactical swordsman who can wield two swords. Which, given that his name is Bushido and his name is Swordsman, I fully expect we're gonna get some sick sword fights with this guy. And just like Reiji, his name, Aikokuen, is a play on his Emorgear, which is Sorrow. And finally, our last Gavin being Gavin Luminous, who is Kiki Iwai. And she's played by Kokona Sumi. Which, fun fact, she's in a J-drama with Kamen Rider Tycoon's actor and Medic's actress from Kamen Rider Drive. Now, unlike the other two Gavin, she isn't a sheriff but a forensic scientist on Earth Iota 5109. And I probably butchered that name, so let me know what it is down in the comment section below. She is considered a massive otaku and is extremely dedicated to her work. She has extremely high analytical skills and can find the solution to a problem extremely fast. So she's basically the GOAT. Also, she loves the Emorgear so much that she can understand what they're saying. So yeah, I guess this confirms that they're essentially just like the GOZYUGERs down to having their own language. Now oddly, her partner Kotobuku Takanari, played by Lana Tanida, was noted to be more important than the other Gavin's partners. and in every single promotional image, they are seen as a duo. Now at first, everyone thought that Luminous was going to be the two of them in one body, kinda like Kamen Rider Double. But apparently that's just not the case, she's just doing all the investigating and the muscle of the crew. So essentially think of the roles of Philip and Shotaro were flipped. Except Philip was the one fighting and there wasn't the concept of two minds in one body. Though I'll be honest, given how close the two girls are, being best friends since high school, I wouldn't be surprised if Luminous gets a power-up that is similar to Cyclone Joker Extreme. I mean, Kiki even has a nickname for her, being Koto, and in the trailer and promotional images, she's shown holding a weapon. Hell, even Kotobuki's last name is literally another way of saying joy. I just don't see there not being a power-up dealing with their relationship. But speaking of names, just like Reiji and Zetsuna, her name Kiki is a play on her Emorgear being Joy. Now I won't lie, I already see some Sentai elements that are already bleeding into the series, especially with their personalities. You got the fiery red, stoic blue, positive peppy female white, and the cool character in black. Honestly, you could have another color like green that's just comedic relief, and you could literally just call this Super Sentai with just another name. However, I don't think it's gonna be completely like that, at least at first. From the trailer, we don't really see any of the Gavins interacting with one another, so it kind of just makes me wonder if they're gonna have all separate stories that kind of just merge at a point. Then again, Reiji is supposed to be able to travel between dimensions, so maybe he'll forge a bond with these three and create a multiversal space squad of Gavins. Either way, it has me interested to say the least. But on the topic of multiverse, this actually brings up a lot of possibilities for crossovers. Given how similar the plot is to Go Busters and Deca Ranger, I wouldn't be shocked if they gave us a crossover between the two series. And like I mentioned before, they've already crossed over with Gavin, so it's not like that's out of the realm of possibilities. And if Reiji's ability is to travel across dimensions and meet other Gavins, there is the possibility that we might see the original Gavin or even Geki. But if I'm being honest, I think Geki is more likely to show up since he kinda picked up the mantle after the reboot. And I guess maybe Charavan and Shader as well. Alongside this, I could also see the Q Ranger showing up since they're literally in an alternate dimension, and Tsurugi is the leader of the Galactic Federation in that world, so it's not really out of the question that he will show up at some point. And by extension, the King Ogers, Gokaigers, and the Boon Boongers could appear as well, though I feel these are way less likely. Either way, there's a bunch of ways they could do crossovers in the season, whether it be Metal Heroes or even with Super Sentai. But each Gavin has their own team that's working alongside them. As for Team Infinity, we have Daisuke Date, played by Arihiro Matsunaga, and Agi is played by Kohana Arisaka. Date is the head of the Archives Division and researches the multiverse and Emorgear. Now it says that Date is from an Earth parallel to the Earth that Reiji's on, but he also can't travel through dimensions like Reiji. I don't know how that works, but maybe he got stuck on this Earth through an incident. Either way, it sounds interesting nonetheless. But his dream is to travel freely across the multiverse. And apparently Reiji and him went to the police academy together, and Date respects him so much that he just calls him captain. And the two are part of the records of investigation, but secretly go on their own investigations. As for Agi, her name literally stands for Artificial General Intelligence, and she was created by Date to help the two on missions. And just like Shelly from the Gavin movie, she is able to change her clothes by using her particle ability. Also, she can use it to enter things virtually, which honestly just sounds so cool. Alongside them, we have the lead investigator, Rikia Wanabuchi, played by Hiroto Yasuda, who constantly crosses paths with Team Infinity. However, he doesn't know that Reiji is Gavin, so he just thinks that the entire team is goofing off on other Earths. Alongside him, he has his buddy, Patron, who totally isn't Jim Carter, and he travels alongside him to investigate these crimes. Also, apparently his VA is Dio, so every time I'm gonna hear this guy, I'm just gonna casually hear JoJo memes in my head. Either way, the two of these guys make Wani Pat. As for Team Bushido, we have Rui Amao, played by Anna Irayama. She is Zetsuna's superior and is cool-headed and has a strong amount of trust in him. And apparently she resembles an alien woman who named Zetsuna. So you know that there's gonna be some sort of big bond between these two. I don't think it's love, but maybe some sort of loyalty between the two. Though Ruri is completely unaware of this, so this will definitely be a plot point. But there's still one more character we haven't mentioned who is definitely by far one of the most interesting characters so far. Carol Kwon Vigils, who's played by Yuta Hiroka. Now his name already sounds weird. I mean, that name is a mouthful and is way different from the others, and that's for a good reason. He's the director of the GFP Earth branch and founded the records of division Team Infinity works for. Also, his age is unknown, which in any work of fiction is never a good thing. So this guy is definitely doing some sus stuff in the background. Maybe he's an Volto type of character. But his character color is purple, and wouldn't you know it, we also have a dark purplish Gavin shown in the trailer. So yeah, this guy without a doubt has to be our purple evil Gavin. And his bio even says that Reiji is the only person who can travel universes and stop the threats. Yeah, sure. Now, like I said, the villains seem to be aliens, kind of like the Monster of the Week type of deal, similar to Sentai, but it doesn't seem like there's a given faction who is creating these monsters outside of whoever this purple Gavin is. But from the trailer, we can tell that there's different types of Emorgears, ones being the ones that our protagonists use, and these dark, almost artificial ones that the monsters use. So maybe these are drug allegories that heighten the emotions of a monster, and given that the running theme of the show is emotions, I wouldn't be shocked. And of course, all of this is food for thought. However, we did get a look at what I assume to be the grunts for the monsters, which are these guys in this top pad. Though honestly, this could be another Monster of the Week crossing over with another Monster of the Week. Like I said at the beginning, this trailer just really didn't give us much, so this is all pure speculation. Anyways, the Emorgear and the narrator of the story is going to be Ayako Kawasumi, aka Saber from Fate. While the Gavarian trigger is going to be voiced by the same person who did Momotaro's from Den-O. As for the theme song, it's going to be called Love is the Strongest by Mayan. And she did the opening for Excel World, which honestly just gave me a giant blast to the past when I heard that. And I'm just going to say the songs she makes are bangers. As for the writer of the series, it's going to be the same guy who did Boom Boonger, aka Atsuhiro Tomioka. Now before people say that the story is going to be crap, let's be honest, the Boom Boonger story wasn't anything crazy. But the best part of the show was honestly the characters. Also, this guy literally made our entire childhood writing the entirety of the Pokemon anime. So yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, and even if the Boom Boonger story was mid, I absolutely love the characters. And given that we have the same composer from Zenkaiger, Boom Boonger, and King Oger, we know that the music is going to be top tier. And the director is a veteran at Toei, being Hirofumi Fukuzawa. And given how the action looked in the trailer, I think this series is gonna have some really cool action. But yeah, this is about all we know about the series. I'll be honest, I wish we knew a little bit more about the plot, but I guess Toei wants to keep that a secret from us. But without a doubt, that means that the premiere is going to be insane. But if you guys are excited about the show, let me know down in the comment section below. Leave your predictions, thoughts, and all of that down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything Toku related. And with that, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I'm Foul Place, and I'm out. Peace.